Hello, this is Cheryl Petersen at HealingScienceToday.com. The world news can be disturbing. Wars, tragedies, marvels, artificial intelligence. It can all be a bit much, especially when deep down we know we all are a part of it. Author David McCullough wrote in his book, History Matters, "Nothing happens in isolation, never has, never will." Chaos and isolation do not feel normal to our native self. Chaos and isolation feel wrong. To explain this predicament, oh yeah, I can read these words from the Bible. I'll read from the New Life Version. Jesus began to say to them, "Be careful that no one leads you the wrong way. Many people will come using my name. They will say, 'I am Christ.' They will turn many to the wrong way. When you hear of wars and much talk about wars, do not be surprised. These things have to happen, but the end is not yet. Nations will have wars with other nations. Countries will fight against countries. The earth will shake and break apart in different places. There will be no food for people. There will be much trouble. These things are the beginnings of much sorrow and pain. Watch out for yourselves. They will take you to the courts, in the places of worship. They will beat you. You will be taken in front of rulers and in front of kings because of me. You will be there to tell them about me. The good news must first be preached to all the nations." The verses go on and on. Here's some more. "After those days of much trouble and pain and sorrow are over, the sun will get dark, the moon will not give light, the stars will fall from the sky, the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with a great power and shining greatness." I take these words as pointing to the spiritual force of watching. Watching is more than gawking or staring in disbelief at something from a distance. There's more. Jesus said, "Watch out for yourselves. Watch for the coming of Christ." In other words, we take care of ourselves. We can be with the coming Christ power of life and love. Christ is the true idea of God as infinite spirit, divine principle. Christ destroys false ideas of God as warlike, attacking, national, starving, or threatening, in a word, bad news. I liken the coming or returning Christ Spirit to those times when we go through something scary, an illness, unemployment, a divorce, an accident in life, and we come out in the end stronger, kinder, more honest, and upright, and confident in spirit as having an intelligent plan. The coming Christ feels like good news. So rather than isolate myself from the world, I wonder, what good news can I share and express in my daily doings to successfully deal with the consequences of bad news? How can I act on good news? How can I understand and stop fearing the horrifying behaviors that human beings are vulnerable to? I receive a bit of counsel from Mary Baker Eddy. She wrote in her Science and Health, and it is included in the Parallel Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. Her Science and Health's on that side of the page, and 21st Century Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, the 7th edition, is on the other corresponding page. Eddy wrote, Science only can explain the incredible good and evil elements now coming to the surface. Mortals must find refuge in truth in order to escape the error of these latter days. From the 7th edition of 21st Century Science and Health, only science can explain the incredibly good and evil elements that keep surfacing. Human beings must find protection in truth to escape the errors of today. I notice how that statement builds on truth. The science that explains what's going on refers to the science of Christ, truth. Christian Science, the law of God, explains and manifests divine principle and its rule of understanding and restoration, as Christian Science explains. In other words, that statement does not refer to the Science and Health book as explaining the incredible good and evil elements that keep surfacing. I won't find protection in Science and Health, but only in truth when it comes to the world news and everything I do. The science of truth explains and demonstrates. Being scientific, truth is practical. I can practice truthfulness, even if sometimes I don't want to. The science of truth is the science of life. When I practice or demonstrate the life of truth and the truth of life, I feel and better share the good news. For example, the good news demands and supplies literal physical revisions and adaptations or translations to keep the spirit of truth before our watch. For those of you who don't know, I produced and published 21st Century Science and Health, the 7th edition, and along with this parallel version of Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. If anyone asked me which edition I'd authorize or make official when it comes to Christian Science, I'd look shocked and say, none of them. In good conscience, I cannot support such stricture on Science and Health as to enforce the reading of one single book. The consequences of trying to literalize Christian Science with a book increases fear and declines faith in God. Faith in a book? Bad news. Moreover, if I thought that I needed to read only one or two books for truth, I, in turn, am thinking that other books are untruthful, contaminated, maybe evil. Truth is not absent. Truth reveals itself through the world and all its doings. The science of Christ truth comes to shine light on good news, which in turn erases bad news as it shakes and falls apart. I tell people to read a lot of different books. There is no pure or impure book. God, love, Christian Science, Christ's Spirit, whatever you call it, reveals itself to our pure hearts. We discover the law of God that is in force forever, reforming and restoring our reality as part of the whole. I do not avoid bad news, but I also do not absorb it. I do not believe the false idea of God as expecting or demanding us to look to the literal past for truth. The conflicts we endure are not between nations, people, churches, and books. The conflict is between human mind and divine mind, between human egos and the one ego, Spirit. Divine mind, God, wins the battles. God sent Christ to our humanity. Christ's Spirit The true idea of God is everywhere substantially. And when we know God, we know ourselves as the image and likeness of justice and mercy and natural well-being.